Hello everybody, today I have a very cool bulb to share with all of you. This is an Osram 55 watt low pressure sodium bulb. This I got with a low pressure sodium security light way back in the day. I have a video of it on the channel, but we've never taken a look at this bulb itself. And I thought what a great opportunity to do so, since we're taking a look at the other bulbs that were so graciously donated to us from Agent Halogen. This is, until this point, the only 55 watt low pressure sodium bulb I have in my entire collection. Which is awesome that Agent Halogen donated some here, because now I can use the fixture a bit more often than not at all. Just being worried about this unique bulb here. So, as you can tell just by looking at this thing, it's a little different compared to the ones that were just on screen. This has to be a much older design for a low pressure sodium lamp. Let's start with the base here. We have a pretty standard BY22D bayonet cap base. This one's like, I don't know if it was red back in the day, but it's kind of like a tan color. And then, of course, we go to the inside of the lamp here. We have our getter, this silverized coating on the inside, and that is to help get rid of any impurities inside of the outer jacket of the lamp. Of course, moving on in, we have the electrodes inside there, and boy, take a look at those things. They're massive. Those are huge compared to, this is a 36 watt bulb, which would have been a economy replacement lamp, but just look at the size difference. That is crazy. Yeah, these things are huge. And of course, we have our arc tube inside. Now, one of the things you probably noticed right off the bat is this is a pretty smooth arc tube compared to the Philips offerings here that have all the little dimples for the sodium to find a home. As you can see here, you know, there's multiple dimples for it. Now, they do have dimples here, but they're in one side of the lamp. So is it supposed to be inserted a certain direction so that those face up or down? I'm unsure. We can see, though, that all the sodium seemed to have found its home right here, is where it was happiest. But we can also see at the end here a very elaborate support system for the arc tube. We do have the tip here where we evacuate and put in the sodium into the discharge tube. But we can also see that it's a pretty hefty end here. You know, in the Philips ones, it just bends it over. But here they have so much more engineering going into it. It's almost like it's a cooling zone as well. And as far as I understand it, the dimples are there to add an area that is a little cooler than the main arc there, just for better operation of the lamp. And I wonder if this end part is part of that. This is also a very heavy lamp compared to the other ones here. This is quite heavy. The glass looks to be much thicker, not only for the outer jacket, but the arc tube itself. Very elaborate holder here for the arc tube. Very interesting just comparing them here and how things have changed over the years. So, as you can tell, we haven't really taken a look at the etch yet. And before I did this video, I was like, I know there's an etch here, but I can't find it. It's just gone. But we can make it come back so that we can get a good look at it. So, we're going to do the breathing method. Let me breathe on it. I know it's around here somewhere. There it is. Just breathe on it. Okay. Now, it's going to still be really hard to see, but you can see it right there. How in the world are we going to focus on this? This is going to be the hardest etch to film ever. Let me see here. Let me see. Boy, I don't know how we're going to see this. It is so hard to see. I apologize. it is really hard to see. Osram 55W SOX, Great Britain. That's all I can really get out of it. I was really hoping we'd be able to get a much better look at the etch in hopes of finding like a date code or something, but maybe the different colored end caps here can help date this lamp. That is just too cool to see all these together. So let's take one more close-up look at this bulb here and those giant electrodes. Wow. And the beautiful construction here on the end. And let's get this back in its original fixture where I found it, and let's get it turning on. So we got the bulb in its original fixture here, the Lustra indoor security light. Let's take a quick look at the ballast. Here is the nice old advanced transformer we will be using in this fixture. Now, let's turn off the lights, and let's turn it on here in 3, 2, 1. Beautiful old bulb. Got to get a reading right off the bat there. Very nice. Of course, we'll save that. Now, these indoor security lights were actually common back in the day with black and white CCTV cameras. So inside of your business, you might have one or a couple of these to light up inside, and well, it didn't matter what kind of color you get out of the light, you just need an incredibly efficient light source. So that's why Lustra made these indoor security lights out of low pressure sodium ballasts and bulbs. Very cool thing. They're kind of hard to find, but this one is awesome. And well, every fixture is awesome to me, but this one even more so just because of its rarity. As usual, let's go ahead and let this thing warm up. I must apologize. I didn't do any readings right off the start here, so we're at 118.8 volts, 2.71 amps, 90 watts, and a power factor of 0.27. Okay, continue on. Here's something interesting to take a look at. This bulb is the 36 watt SOX E version. Of the 55 watt, I should say. But this one I tested just a short while ago, and I wanted to share with you how the sodium vapor inside of this lamp absorbs the same wavelength of the monochromatic bulb here that is turning on, and it makes it kind of this cloudy, hazy inside the tube. It's a really neat effect. Okay, so it appears that we are at full brightness now, so let me go ahead and get a reading of that before I forget for our full brightness reading. And of course, let's go ahead and see what the meters have to say and how well it's lighting everything up. Naturally, we're getting some pretty nice color out of this bulb. Love the monochromatic light here in the garage, gives a really neat effect. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lux meter here. Oh, we're at 177 lux. The reason I say oh is it was going down a little bit ago to about 175. But maybe after moving the tripod, it went up again a little bit. But that's not too bad. 177. Of course, let's take a look at our meter here. We're at 118.5 volts, 2.86 amps, 82.2 watts, and a power factor of 0.24. It could really do with a capacitor there, but it doesn't have one. Didn't matter at the time. Nobody cared about the power factor. Oh, the thing is beautiful to look at. And low pressure sodium bulbs are so easy to look at too. They don't really, leave burn-ins into your eyes as long as some other intense light sources. Very cool. Get a little bit of a daylight over here on the right. So you kind of get a little bit of a contrast there. Makes daylight look incredibly blue naturally. Very, very cool. Love the low pressure sodium bulbs. Spectrum of the bulb right after turn on. Spectrum of the bulb during warm up. And spectrum of the bulb at full brightness. CRI of the bulb right after turn on. CRI of the bulb during warm up. And CRI of the bulb at full brightness. Okay, there's not going to be much of it, but let's get a little bit of cooldown. There we go. As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, be sure to give it a like down below and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this one. Also check out my secondary channel Merkove and subscribe over there for more behind the scenes and alternative content. Of course, check out the other videos here on this screen, and as always, thank you very much for watching.